live. We have 4 simple rules. Number 1, we don't discuss politics, ever. Number 2, this is not a religious channel, and while you might hear people say, God bless you, or I'm going to pray for you, or I wouldn't have gotten through this without my faith, that's fine. What's not fine is to say, my God is better than your God, or here's why you're not getting into heaven. It's not going to fly. Number 3, we believe wholeheartedly if you can't control your tongue, then you can't control your life. So while on board, there's not going to be any cursing in the live chat, period. And number 4, there is no room for mean people on the lifeboat. Because we discuss very sensitive things from people's past in our group setting, we got to protect those people. The only way they feel confident and comfortable discussing those things is in an environment that is free of trolls and mean people. So if you're a mean person or you're a troll, we're going to block you for life. And if your account happens to be less than 24 hours old, we're probably a little suspicious right from the word go. Why? Well, because there are people in this world who enjoy being cruel solely for the sake of being cruel. It's not going to fly here. But if you're here because you're trying to get sober and live your best life, then you might find that the lifeboat is just that, a lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and we will see you on deck.
Good morning, crew. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. Fired up a little early this morning. My comments section was going good, and I thought this would be a damn good time to fire up a little early. So before I get rolling, I'm not talking about anything having to do with politics. We're going to just talk about staying sober today. But as an illustration, I'm getting prepared for many things currently having to do with this war that I'm undertaking. And one of the things that is absolutely necessary is a history of the opioid crisis. And you take that back almost to the Silk Road. You take that back to the very beginning. And M. Hunt, I know what you're going through. I do. I watch videos, and the educational part of it talks about the wonders of the poppy and the absolute miracle that it is for so many people. And you know what? I know people it's a miracle for. There are hospices all over the United States today where people are spending quality time with their loved ones for no other reason other than the poppy. That the pain levels get decreased enough so that someone can go in and tell someone they love them for the last time instead of watching them screech in pain. Nevertheless, it's the bane of my existence. And it comes down to the bag of tricks. I mean, you nailed it. It really does. And I read another comment that said, still learning, full of hope. Good to see you, my friend. I read another dear, the beer has been so amazingly. Hold on a second. Beer has been an amazing thing to humanity and a pure nightmare. It has not been an amazing thing to humanity. Truthfully, it hasn't. One of the things that I do, M. Hunt, is that if I have to watch a video on the amazing properties of the poppy, I then watch a video on Kensington. Literally. I mean, I spend sometimes 6-7 hours on a deep dive. And if I have to watch an hour of something on the wonders of the poppy, I then watch an hour on Kensington and watch what it does to people. I go back through my past, and I remember taking Spanx Calhoun's bicycle that I bought to the pawn shop so that I could go buy heroin, right? Lying to my kid about what happened to the bike. That's the person I became. And the focus on, and that's part of the bag of tricks. The bag of tricks is not always just diversions for the brain. Sometimes it's actually diving deep into the root causes of some of the things that make us who we are and what we were. It's funny. And I'll put you on the spot, Em Hunt. I'm sorry, but I have to. I had sent Em Hunt a picture of my ex. My ex was one of the most attractive women you would ever want to see. Breathtaking. She wasn't beautiful. Truthfully, She was not beautiful. She was one of the cruelest people I've ever met in my life. However, if I were to just take out the picture of my ex and look at it, it's really easy to confuse the two. And it's very similar to something like seeing a tribute to alcohol and its fantastic taste and everything else. There's nothing beautiful about it. In fact, it's ugly. It really is. And perspective is one of the best tools that we have. The purpose of obviously the purpose of sobriety is to become the best you that you possibly can. And we start here in a 3-step process by making a list of all of the reasons to stay sober. And those lists are the exact same reasons that I don't call the dope man and you don't drive to the grocery store. If you knew the number of times that I have taken out my notebook and gone to those words that I wrote down after Q gave me the assignment, the pages have coffee spilled on them. I mean, if you were to just see the page, you could think it was written in 1850 instead of 2015 or 2016. That page isn't meant to write and leave. That page is meant to write and go back to. We have to remind ourselves on a daily basis the people that we injured with our drug use. I have a great relationship with my son. After last night's live feed, the phone rang and it was Calhoun. And I got on the phone and the two of us talked for a while. And the second that I hung up, I was trying to eat. And he said, I don't want your dinner to get cold. I know that you need to eat. The second that I hung up, Cedar called me. And I'll tell you something. Those two are the biggest tools in my bag of tricks. Make no mistake. I'm not worth saving. There are times I'm just not. So when I say that I'm a recovered drug addict, I'm a recovered drug addict because the tricks in my bag are bulletproof. So many of them come down to routine. But then there are the ripcord tools. So my routine, I get up, I make the bed. I make sure that my cat never has to go into a litter box that's disgusting. That's huge for me. So I make the bed and I make sure that Squirrel has a very nice place to go potty, because that's a huge deal to me. It may sound silly. And the routine is such a routine. At 4 o'clock in the morning, the alarm goes off. I get up, I make sure the thumbnail is done. I text Lady Crispin. Squirrel starts running in circles, literally in the room, sounding like a cat trumpet and running in circles. I take her downstairs. I give her 3 treats. I open up the garage door. She goes outside. Everything is absolutely scheduled. The coffee, all of it. Because that routine keeps my brain away from anything else and reminds me that I'm not the person that I used to be. You know what, M. Hunt? None of us are worth saving. And all of us need to be saved. Do you understand? The people that we save ourselves for are what is important. To say you're not worth saving, trust and believe no one is worth saving. We are, at our base, drug addicts. At our base, we have a disease that makes us really, really messed up individuals. But I'm here to tell you that when you sent me a picture of you and your daughter, that's not the person that isn't worth saving. I'd jump in front of a bus for that person. I'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning for that person. I would fire up this video 5 minutes early and screw the schedule up a little bit. That person's worth saving. The person whose fingers dance on that bass guitar, like Eddie Van Halen, that's a tool. That's a trick. When you're in that moment, I don't think you're thinking of booze. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm an idiot. But you look to me while you're doing that like I am when I've got my face in a watch. When nothing else matters and the world just sort of fades away and it's me and that thing that does not want to be fixed. I don't know. I have no concept of at all of the creativity that it takes to play an instrument. I'm not made that way. I'm not. I wish I was. I don't have that. But I would imagine in that moment that everything else falls away. That's a trick. One of the keys to almost every trick is knowing that we can make the rest of the world fall away. There are a mountain. What am I saying? There was a mountain in 1930. There is an unlimited supply of things that we can look at. With all due respect, you should slap the crap out of yourself for allowing 8 minutes of that video to watch, to enter your brain this morning. You see a video that comes on about what a great thing alcohol is, and you don't turn the channel, you should be slapping yourself in the head. Sorry, but I'm just being real. If there's no way to avoid watching it, then I would watch a video of a young girl crying because her father is an alcoholic. I would find a video of a girl 35 years old sitting in a session talking about what it was like to be raised by a drug addict or a heroin addict. For me, it's what I would do. People, it is so easy as we get rolling, as we start to become better versions of ourselves, to forget what the hell we were. The interview I did with Heather got a lot of people that emailed me and said, there was some honesty in that I hadn't seen before. I'm genuinely playing a bass line listening to this. Good, Puffinator. I like it. I absolutely like it. M. Hunt, I'm sorry, man. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm really not. But sobriety comes in two forms, right? There are two very distinct parts of sobriety. And one is the beauty. And one is the honesty. The beauty is who you're becoming today. The honesty is who you used to be. When I did that interview with Heather, to talk about the things that I've done in my past, I talk about them a lot. And I get people to say, boy, you don't need to own it that much. No, maybe you don't need to own it that much. I do. I do. To say I am a recovered heroin addict, I say that because I know who the hell I was when I was a heroin addict. And I will never forget that. For better or worse, I am now a drug and alcohol coach. That's what I am. Not at all what I intended to be in life, I assure you, but it is what I am. I am a drug and alcohol coach. And I can tell you across the board that the people that fail do not keep in contact with who they used to be. When we peel that onion, we find out why we were that person. When we peel that onion, we figure out what the hell it was. Why are we so uncomfortable in our own skin? I go now for days sometimes feeling comfortable in my own skin. I saw a comment that said, you know what, I'm still learning to use the tools in my bag. Me too. AKA Heather Joy is about to celebrate 15 years of sobriety, still learning to use those tools. M. Hunt also said, you know what, I can only assume, a tone of, shucks. I may have to use herb this morning. Knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. That's a hell of a trade. It's a hell of a trade. Make it happen. I don't think that's a bad trade. I'm not here to judge anybody on how they get off and how they stay sober. I do not judge anybody. That is a legal substance. And I have yet to meet a man who beat his child because he did a bong hit. I have yet to meet a man who punched his wife in the face because he smoked a joint. But I have met people that have punched women in the face because they drank too much. I have. And the amazing thing is, some of them aren't dirtbags. I don't know too many people who are comfortable hitting a woman that are not a dirtbag. But I have a grandfather who hit my grandmother. It's not one I've said out loud before, and I'm sure it would make a lot of people in my family really upset. But he never drank again. It was the last time he ever had a sip of alcohol because he wasn't that person. That is one of the most insidious substances on the planet. It really is. It's one of the most just absolutely obscene substances. There's no beauty in it at all. There's not. The people that really enjoy the taste, man, friggin-tastic. We're not those people. I've told you the statistic before, right? Literally half of every single person who commits a murder, half of every single person who is murdered is drunk when they die. And like 8 out of 10 people that pull the trigger have been drinking when they pull the trigger. Murders are facilitated by booze. Good God. Nikki Sixx didn't miss the mark much when he said that alcohol should be illegal. So, meditation is something in the bag of tricks. Exercise is something in the bag of tricks. People, I weighed myself yesterday. I'm 232 pounds. 232 pounds. I left prison at 205. There are some of you who have known me now for a long time who have seen a picture of what I looked like when I left prison. And I'm not here to brag. That's not what I'm doing. But you could have put me on the front page of Men's Journal. I had a 6-pack you wouldn't believe. Now I'm fat. And I can sit here and tell you a whole lot of excuses for why that is. Well, I'm busy as hell. I don't have time to work out. You're damn right I do. You make time for what you want to make time for. The people that say to me, I just don't have time to walk. With all due respect, if the doctor said, I need you for 2 hours a day for radiation therapy. If you don't do that, you're not going to see next Christmas. Oh, you'll make 2 hours a day. Trust and believe you'll make 2 hours a day. Well, guess what? Addiction is just as friggin' dangerous as cancer. It is a disease, just like cancer is. You want to stay sober, you will make time to exercise. You want to stay sober, you will make time to meditate. And we have an unlimited supply of things that we can look at that will reinforce our sobriety. An unlimited supply. If you never left the big red button, you would not run out of things to look at that would reinforce your sobriety. Never leaving that platform. Ever. Holy hell, if you didn't leave the lifeboat, you've got about 1,000 hours of hearing people talk about sobriety, reading comments from people who are fighting to stay sober without leaving the lifeboat. And I'm one of countless channels out there. Get to the ones that just talk completely, no personality whatsoever. You don't see a person's face, and they just talk about what this stuff does to the body. It's a poison, right? Almost every single substance we're doing is a poison of some kind. If not, doesn't go through the liver. Alcohol, however, is the biggest poison in history. It is. You know what a hangover is? It's acute alcohol withdrawal. You become addicted to the crap the first time you drink it. You drink 12 beers, you go into withdrawal the following day. It's a substance that literally sucks the water out of every single. I am 6'2". 6'2", 230 pounds, 232 pounds. Look me real close in the eye, people. I'm going to weigh 210 pounds. I'm going to do it in about 30 to 60 days. And I'm going to have a 6-pack that if I show pictures of, I'll lose half of the audience. Believe it or not. I won't lose any of the females, but guys will bail. I've tested this theory before. For real, it's bizarre. But I promise you, I'm going to put myself back into shape because I got time. I have time. I do. I have time to do yoga. I have time to do whatever I think is important. I don't have a problem cracking off 45 minutes to talk to Spanx. I don't have any problem cracking off 40. You get intoxicated. Well done. Oh yeah. No, you're good. You're good. You have time to do whatever you want to make time for. Whatever you want to make time for. It's amazing how many people tell me they don't have time to do this and they don't have time to do that. Well, that's awesome. 6'2" is where you ought to be. I mean, that's healthy as hell. I left prison at 205 pounds. I think by the time I left the halfway house, I was 207, and I was in really good shape. I was in the best shape I had been in my life, in spite of my age, and in spite of a ton of really horrendous things that have happened to me medically. Do you know why? I made time. Your bag of tricks is about making time for things that are more important than getting drunk. You hear me? Your bag of tricks is about making time for things more important than getting high. It is taking time to concentrate on things that have nothing to do with booze, drugs, partying. It's amazing, literally amazing, when you realize how many of the things that we did every day messed up, we don't enjoy. Honestly, it's a trip. It really is. It's a trip. The things that I could do for 3 or 4 hours without any problem on heroin, I do 6 minutes of now, and I'm going, what in God's name am I doing? My brother uses peppers in his bag of tricks. Make no mistake. He has had enough medical procedures done. I'm not going to put him on blast, but there's a reason he's considerably shorter than I am now. We used to be the same height. He's got 2 metal rods that go all the way through his spine. He has literally figured out a way to treat pain without pain medication. It's pretty wild, isn't it? Well, he made time. He made crap loads of time. If you had talked to me 4 months ago and said, has Johnny got any more time that he could put into anything other than what he's doing right now? Right? He's at Blazing Foods. He's doing how many videos a day over on Chase the Heat? I would have said there's no way in hell. And then he did a project that I can't talk about. I'll tell you about it later when he's not here. But I think I saw his name. But he undertook a massive project that required him flying all over the United States, getting filmed here, getting filmed there, doing all of these different things. Why? Because he was willing to make time. He was willing to make time. It astounds me. Yeah, I don't have time to work out. Got 5 hours to sit on the couch. Right? You can work that one into the day. I can't begin to tell you what it feels like to say, truthfully, in no uncertain terms, truthfully, I have not watched a television program in a decade. In a decade. I've not sat through one TV show in a decade. Do you have any idea how many documentaries I've watched in the last decade? They're beautiful. One camera. Right? Documentaries are usually shot with one camera, which means there's none of that that gives me a migraine. The lovely thing is documentaries force you to think. You realize that you can watch a movie and pay no attention to it whatsoever. You can watch a movie and think about getting high the entire time it's on. It's not going to divert your attention. Learn something. Learn something. Pick up a book. Read. Learn something about yourself. Take 30 minutes, right, to just sit down and think about you. That first page that we start with, when we do my method, Q's method, and we make a list of every reason to get sober, that list ain't going to change much. For the rest of your time on this planet, that list ain't going to change much. You know how many people write to me once a week and say, I can't meditate? I understand. I understand. Trying to clear your mind of all thoughts, I have a struggle with that, people. I suck at that. I really do. I suck at that. But I'll tell you what, sit down for 30 minutes and read what you wrote on that list of why you want to be sober. Get to the bottom, go back to the top, start reading it again. Do that for 30 minutes a day. I dare you. Do that for a week. There ain't a chance in hell you're going to screw up that week. Ain't a chance in hell. My dad is gone. I'm never going to get a chance to talk to him again on this planet. That's reality, right? He was the first thing I put on that list. I didn't want to ever disappoint him again. When I feel like being an asshole, do you think that changes? My beliefs are different than other people's beliefs, but I believe my dad knows. I believe he knows that myself and my brother is sober. I think he knows that Calhoun is sober. And I think it tickles him. And I'd be damned if I would do anything to change that. Does that make me rock solid? No. It makes me smart enough to pick up that piece of paper and read it often. Often. You got to do it for you. If you don't do it for yourself, you're going to relapse. There are days I don't feel like a very good person. Often. There are days I don't feel like a very good person. There are days I feel like I could let myself down really easily. The responsibility of the lifeboat has been massive. It was massive. How many lives would I affect if I relapsed? How many lives would I affect if I relapsed? 3,000? Well, there's only about 5 that really, really would destroy me to let down. And I can see 3 of them here today. I remind myself, Blake, have a great day. Be safe. Be safe, please. People, there are days that running the lifeboat sucks. There are. There are days that the pressure of the lifeboat make you want to kill. There really are. Bag of tricks. See this little thing? I chew this thing. It's 40 pounds of pressure. It goes in here. Blood flows to my head fast. Tons of it. Completely changes my physiology. It also releases unbelievable amounts of stress. On last night's live feed, I don't turn off the computer when I'm done. I go and I have dinner. I do everything else. But by leaving the computer on, I can go back all the way to the beginning and I can read the texts. And I'm trying to not interact with you people very much when I'm talking because it destroys the show. It really does. It makes it tough. So he says, I believe I saw a madman on here. I'm praying for him. I was about to bring that up, actually. I'm praying for him too. Every single day. I kicked him off the boat. He's not here because he's chosen not to be here. He's not here because I kicked him off the boat. He could be listening right now. You just can't see him because I kicked him off the boat. Do you think that was pleasant? Honestly, do you think that was pleasant? You talk about things that make you want to go back and do a drug. That's a good one. That's a damn good one. But we've got rules on this boat. There are rules that I had to come on and do an entire show talking about, right? Can't do this. Can't do this. Right? We structure the boat in such a way so that we can't have people do certain things. They do certain things, they get a warning about those certain things. And then 9 people say to you, well, he reached out to me and asked for something. That's not comfortable for me. I'd like him right here, right now. I hope he is. I hope he is. But my job is to protect the boat. No, you didn't change the subject, M. Hunt. You didn't change the subject. The timing was incredible. But I said to you, I leave the computer on so that I can go back and read the comments. So last night after dinner, I was reading the comments and 2 people said, I miss him. You and one other gentleman. And I am heartbroken that he's not here. He knows how to reach out to me. He does. And when he wants to reach out to me honestly, you know what? I've taken people back on the lifeboat. And it's been some of the greatest things that's ever happened. I kicked somebody off the lifeboat, banned them, and now they have a wrench. But it comes right down to what we're talking about. It comes right down to what we're talking about. We had a real simple program here, people. There aren't 12 steps. But one of the pages, you make a list of what you want to be going forward. And on that list, you put down usually an exact mirror opposite, right? A photo negative of what you wrote on the previous one. If no one knew you were ever going to read what they were writing, what would people say about you? Yeah, they'd say that, that you're not trying to work, you're hustling people for money, right? There'd be a list of things that you'd write down on mine that he's going to steal from you. The first one I wrote was I was dishonest. That was the first thing I put on that. If my friends could write something about me and I would never hear it, what was the first thing they would say? He's dishonest. You can't believe him. Can't believe him. So the photo negative of that on the next page was, I'm going to be the most honest cat on the entire planet. I'm going to be the most honest cat on the entire planet. Does that mean that if you lie to me, I can't forgive you? Absolutely not. No. Alcohol, drugs, they make people lie. There are people on this boat that have lied to me 70 times. That's fine. It is. There's just a small set of rules that we keep in place to protect everybody here. But you changing the subject, I planned on talking about this today. Because the two people who said they miss him, I care deeply about. I care deeply about him. He liked to take small snippets of things that he and I talked about. I don't do that. I didn't do that when some disgusting human being claimed that I sent masturbation videos. You remember that one? I just came on and said, go ahead and show them. Show those videos to the whole world. You have my permission. Go ahead and show those videos to the whole world. But I could have let you read every single thing that person ever said to me. I don't do that. I will never do that. But if I let you see the entire subject matter, then you would have a deep appreciation for why that individual is not here. I will never do that. It's classless. It's classless. You send somebody a text message, it's for them. It's not for the entire world. It's not. And if you want to lay the whole thing out, start to finish, I'm still classless, but at least it's honest. But you could highlight 3 comments. I never said anything to that person that I wouldn't say with everybody on the planet listening. But he said some lovely things to me. I look forward to the day that he's back in the comment section. I'm telling you straight up, I look forward to the day. But there's going to have to be some changes before that can happen. And if you're thinking, yeah, well, that's not going to happen. Noise Opera was banned. And he was banned here. He was banned on Chase the Heat. Right? Everywhere I could ban him. And I love him. I gave him a wrench. Trust him emphatically. Right? Bag of tricks. Learning honesty. Huge. Huge. It is the number one tool in the bag of tricks. You understand? The number one tool in the bag of tricks is honesty. Honest with everyone and honest with yourself. Heather Joy and I had a conversation about this that was just amazing. It was amazing. It was right before we went live. And she said, is there anything that I can't ask you? I said, no. Leslie, good to see you, brother. He said, she said, there's nothing I can't ask. I said, no, there's nothing you can't ask me. I don't lie. Some of the answers might suck. I'll be honest. That interview was raw. I said things on that interview I've never said on the lifeboat before. I have said on the lifeboat before, maybe someday I will tell you what makes me uncomfortable in my own skin. But I never did. But I had somebody ask me, was I going to do lie? The other option was to say, you know what, I'm not comfortable talking about this. But the truth of the matter is I have to be comfortable talking about it. You don't. You don't have to talk about what makes you uncomfortable in your own skin. I'm never going to ask anyone to do that. I do. I grew up thinking I was stupid. For real. I couldn't cut school. I couldn't do it. I couldn't hack it. I couldn't. I didn't understand how my brain worked. I could memorize anything, but I couldn't write it down. And it was a difficult thing for me. And we had this thing called the honor roll. And I know that right now Johnny's laughing. But when that honor roll was getting ready to come out, it was a nightmare for me. The photocopier became my best friend. I used to fake my report cards. I would change grades. And I know Johnny used to change things from C to C plus. I used to change things from F to B. And I thought I was damaged. I thought I was stupid. And when I started getting high, I didn't care anymore. I'm not stupid. But it took a long time to come to that realization. And it's really funny now because I get people every day who tell me how smart I am. You have no clue. You don't. You have no clue. There are so many things that I am deficient in. Fortunately, you get to see the one I'm good at. But there are a lot of things that just still make me feel stupid. That's the nature of who I am. You know the beauty of that, people? Honestly, do you know the beauty of that? It's not out of control. Made some rules for myself. Don't drink during the day or out in public. Doesn't make it right. I understand that. Will, you know something? If you can make rules and follow them, it's a pretty good step. Most people cannot do that. Most addicts cannot follow that rule. Most addicts can't follow any rules. See, I did that. I'm never, ever going to use during the week. I'm only going to use on weekends. Then I went to, I'm never going to use before work. Then I went to, I'm going to use every single day, but I'm not going to let anybody know about it. And then I went to, I don't care who knows about it. And then I said, you know what? I'll steal to get this stuff, but I'll only steal from stores. I'm never going to, it's be institutions. I'm never going to steal from a human being. And then I got to a point where if I drove by your house and there was something on the front lawn or the front porch, I was pulling over and I was stealing it. But I was never going to steal from somebody that I knew. Then I started stealing from the people that I knew. I wasn't going to lie to friends. I started lying to friends. Wasn't going to lie to family. Started lying to family. I was never going to do anything that would hurt my kids. And I stole from my kids. Pleasant to talk about? No. No. It's not pleasant to talk about at all. I'm only going to smoke crack when I get my hair cut. Oh, don't ever cut your hair, Calvin. I'll never talk to you again. Don't cut your hair. I want it down to your ass. You make rules and you break them. The rule I won't break is I'm not going to lie to anybody ever again. I'm not. There are truths I don't have the right to tell you. When someone says, I'm really sorry that so-and-so isn't here, I can't tell you all the truths. They're not mine. Right? That truth belongs to somebody else. I'll never tell you someone else's truth. Even if I'm dead ass swear in the middle of it, I will not tell you somebody else's truth. And if I do, you need to find a captain. For real. You got to be able to believe that you can talk to me without me showing the entire world your texts. Even if those things are lying about me or anything else, I'm not showing anybody any texts. I do not share other people's truths or other people's lies for that matter. That's not my place. But I'm going to share my own. I'm going to remind myself so often that I stole from my family. Seriously, there's not 2 days that go by that I don't mention that out loud. I stole from my family. You think that's going to happen again? I'm a recovered drug addict. Never say that, right? I'm a recovered drug addict. Pretty simple, too. It really is. When I start feeling squirrely, I pick up that book and I go to the first page and I read every single reason that I wrote down that was worth quitting for. Because those reasons don't ever change. They don't. The world can change in a million ways. In a million ways. When I wrote that, fent wasn't even a thing. I mean, alpha fentanyl was. You could get a patch. Xylazine, trank, none of those things were around. They're going to eventually decriminalize every drug in America. They're going to, because I'm not going to stop until they do. But when that happens, it's not going to change the first page. The fact that I could go in and buy it legally anywhere isn't going to change the reasons that I can't use. It isn't going to change the reasons I quit. I didn't quit because the stuff was illegal. I quit because it made me steal from my family. I quit because it was more important to me than my son or my daughter. I quit because it was more important to me than God. And I quit because it made me pick people to spend time with based on the fact that they were attractive, not beautiful, or both in some cases. Thank God, both. Lady Crispin's both. The bag of tricks is different for every single person. That isn't. That's the ripcord. That's what you do when all else fails. The bag of tricks is not going back to that list every day. You don't have to do that. You do that when you're really slipping. You do that when you know you're in relapse. You understand? That's the ripcord. Eliminate the assholes that you hung out with. Sorry. Eliminate them. Don't have them in your life. How many times have we talked about that on the boat? And then someone sends me something that says, doing everything I can to stay sober. Just moved in a guy who's a crackhead, or I'm sorry, a meth head, because he's got some issues going on with his wife. He's still using. What? What? You just moved a guy using meth into your house. Think you're going to stay sober, do you? Good for you, man. Good for you. My life is about getting people sober. Do you think I would move someone into my home who was using? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I let him come in my house. Trust and believe it. Right? If I care about you and you're using, you can come into my house. I'll lock your ass in that house, but you're quitting. You're not going out without me. You're not doing anything without me. If I got someone I care about that much, they're quitting. I will have a finger in their belt loop until we go through 3 steps that will change their lives. I will work with them every single day. There's not much I won't do for someone that wants to get sober. But I'll tell you something. If it's lip service and you're not trying to get sober, I'll wait until you're ready. And then I'll welcome you back. Open arms. And between now and then, I'll pray for you every single day. Every day. We're going to lose 8 out of 10 people. That's the statistic. I think we're probably closer to 5. Honestly, I think the boat's doing better than the national average. I'm not sure what you knew was coming, but I'm glad you love it. I love that you're here. I love that there's no chance in hell you're going to go buy any alcohol today, M. Hunt. That means the world to me. That means the world to me. It's more important than just about anything. Truthfully. Means the world to me. It's on a list of things that absolutely tickle me. Let me tell you something. Cedar has joined the Facebook lifeboat group. I had asked her many times not to, but Cedar's not a baby anymore. You know what I mean? She's an adult. And she said, I would like to join that group. And I said, all right. And she started spitting out names of people that had reached out. And if you knew how many people I was comfortable saying, absolutely, you could take that person as a friend. Absolutely. Add that person to your friends list. I trust that person. Never stood in the same room with them, but I have no problem trusting that person. There are people on this boat that I know will never lie to me. They might relapse. They might fall down. They may have problems. They will never lie to me. M. Hunt ain't going to lie to me. He's not. Charlie Mullins. I would leave Charlie Mullins in my house with 40 Rolex watches, $4 million in cash, and my daughter sleeping on the couch. Never stood in the same room with him. It's amazing the ripple that can be caused by one sober person. Be that ripple. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch that video, because I'll tell you what, I'm proud of that video. I'm proud of that video. People, you're going to build your bag of tricks. You're the one that is going to know exactly what will go in that bag of tricks. But I can tell you a lot of things. Have an exit strategy. If you're going someplace that you think might be dangerous, have a friggin' exit strategy. Well, you know what? I had someone drop me off there. And well, then you're an idiot, right? You're an idiot. If you know you're going into a situation that is not rock solid, drive. Don't have somebody drop you off. Seriously. I have a rip cord. No lie. I've got a rip cord every time. Johnny, I'm going into someplace and I don't know whether or not this is something I'm going to be able to handle. So I want you to call me at 11:07. At 11:07. Because if this place is stressing me the hell out at 11:07, it's going to be an emergency phone call. And I'm going to go, you know what, people? I'm not going to lie to them. I don't lie. I'm going to say, you know what, people? That was my brother. I have to go. No lie. Think about what you're about to do. Self-awareness. Be aware of your situation. Be aware of the things around you. What are you getting ready to do? How are you spending your time? Those are all in the bag of tricks. You understand this? Right? Make your freaking bed. If you don't have a journal, you're going to fail. Tired of sugarcoating that one. If you're not writing in a journal, you're going to fail. I never stole from my habit, but had a friend steal from me because he had a crack addiction. Will, does not surprise me. Does not surprise me. People that smoke crack, that's one of those substances, and I'm not judging anybody. It's just, this is pure fact. Crack gets you high for about 15 minutes, then you need another hit. Crack takes unbelievable amounts of money to continue to smoke. And they're notorious for doing anything necessary to get it. Heroin is the same thing. I was that guy, but I only needed it every 6 to 8 hours. People that smoke crack need it literally all day. Nobody smokes crack in the morning, goes to work and says, yeah, I'm good. That is a unbelievable thing. V, I love that. Yeah, Will, you should tell your friend about the lifeboat. And people, you want to hear something funny? So I said last week, I said, we picked up about almost 50 to 70 people in about 4 days. And, Mark had shot 2 videos. So I assumed that, we get a lot of traction from Mark shooting videos. We never get that many people. We don't. But we get traction. We get 4 or 5 people that come in every time he mentions it. So I went back and watched him, and he was busy as hell. These were not videos that he talked about the lifeboat. And I'm not upset about that. He talks about it a lot, probably too much. I don't want to see him damage his brand, but they didn't come from that. So I started going, well, Chase the Heat brought some people over, but they always say, hey, your brother. I mean, usually they're fascinated by my brother. So I'm told, there's no such thing as leftover crack. That's classic. Okay, I had a little crack left over from the party. Oh, that is so funny. Emma Hunt, that's great. Oh man, that is really great. So it really is funny. I'm sorry. So Martin Chen, so she said, please know there's no judgment here. And this is a safe place. Yeah, no, there is definitely no judgment here. I don't judge anybody here. I promise you, whether you believe that or not. I don't judge anybody. Even if I kick you off the boat, I'm not judging you. I don't judge anybody. Yeah, Johnny, I know you're dying. Scott Sonic's laughing. That Emma Hunt, that was gold. There's no such thing as leftover crack. Oh, I'm going to use that. Boy, am I going to use that. You'll hear that again. You will hear that again. So I'm trying to figure out, where did all these people come from? And being one of my personality defects is I'm baseline narcissist. And you have to be, I think, at some level to be a public speaker, right? You have to think, oh, well, you know what? Maybe I just had a hell of a week. I'm on fire. people still have to find you, whether you're on fire or not. It's not particularly logical. Lady Crispin drove those people here. I kid you not. She started going to videos that people were putting up about Trank, primarily Trank, and writing comments, because most of the comments say things like, no one's doing anything about this. There's no one that cares about it. So Lady Crispin, being the soldier and the beautiful person that she is, started leaving comments that said things like, there is somebody doing something about it. You really should come by the lifeboat. Judge anybody, and Tommy was a heroin addict. He understands, about this and blah, blah, blah. And started getting like 180 to 200 likes on every single thing that she wrote. And a bunch of those people ended up here. Johnny, where do you think you're going? We got 10 more minutes. Get back here. I'm kidding. Do what you got to do. He's a busy man. I love you, my brother. Keep your bag of tricks fully in the mix. Hone your tools, check the fools, and build your life with bricks. Boom. Scotch Sonnet never lets me down, man. You gotta love a bard. You really do. You gotta love a bard. Yeah, welcome to all the new people for sure. People, the sun is coming up earlier and earlier here. Someone mentioned the lifeboat on Never Lose Truth. I don't know what Never Lose Truth is, but I love that somebody mentioned the lifeboat anywhere. And I thank you all for getting the message out. I really do. My Lady Crispin is nervous. She said she doesn't want so many people showing up that I have to do another run to see if I can break my my world record on the speed run for the Tube of Terror. But might just happen, Might just happen. It's and you know what? I really doubt I could beat it. That record, I think that record will stand for a really long time. But I will give it hell. I promise you, I will give it a try. Whether or not I can beat it, if I could do it, if I could keep it within a minute of that. Carol Clark, yes, longtime truther. Yeah, I love it. I'm very, very happy that that people are mentioning the boat. I really am. Lady Crispin, I gave my word. It's another thing these days that I'm feeling pretty good about. How early is sunrise there? It's 6 a.m. in Edinburgh right now. It's 6 a.m. in Edinburgh right now. Is that true? Well, it's 6 a.m. here right now too. And the sun is going to start peaking up literally any minute. Oh, I'm listening to her. I'm just not listening to her. I'm listening to her, just not listening to her. Okay, peeps. The reason I mentioned the earlier sunrise is I probably am going to be bailing off of these things a little earlier. Probably going to be doing these for about 45 minutes to 50 minutes. I made myself a promise when I was in prison that if I had an opportunity to see the sun come up, I wasn't going to miss it, because I missed a decade of them. And something about God's flashlight that does really wonderful things for me. And I make it a habit, whether it's 20 below or whatever. I make it a habit of trying to be out there when God sends that big glowing ball of light up into view. Can't I just get a tat or something? No systroming. I'm in the process of. There's going to be a tattoo coming as well. You know who I haven't seen in a while? How about some prayers for Scooby? I haven't seen Scoob in a while. I'm going to reach out, see what's up with Scoob. It's about to come up over here, says Spanx. Good. Watch it. See? Full of hope. Now you're getting the, now I'm going to get ganged up on if I don't run. I'm going to get ganged up on. All right, peeps. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville at 5:00 this evening. I'm going to be back here. I'm going to be doing the same thing. I hope I didn't come across as angry or mean to anybody today. Sometimes, people, you got to go back to the first page. Be reminded of the most important things in the world that will keep you from making mistakes. What is most important to you? Helps when two of the most important things in the world to me are here in the morning to remind me.